Hey, Jeanette here. I want to talk about a couple things I keep seeing and hearing in the entrepreneurial coaching therapy space. Um, it's rough out there, right, guys? Like people are struggling to get leads. They're struggling with sales. They're struggling to get the word out there. Struggle, 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 struggle bus, right? And there are thousands of programs that you can invest in and hundreds, thousands of dollars you can spend. Trust me, I've spent a lot of money on these kinds of programs. What I'll tell you is in every single one of them, between 5 and maybe 8 or 10% of people are successful. And those are the success stories that your gurus use to market themselves. Friend of mine and I joke that when we invested in our first business coaching program, she said she spent more time researching her brand of matcha on Amazon than she did looking into the background of the person who is coaching us. I wouldn't say that it was that bad for me, but I definitely took the person at face value. So why are we doing this? Why do we keep racking up certification after certification after certification, business program, training, training, training? Why are we doing this and not seeing the results? Why are we not getting what we set out to get in our businesses? I'll tell you what I see happening. I even had a conversation with a fellow entrepreneur, super bright guy. I mean, the kind of person who has worked for Richard Branson. And he kind of just wrote off the 80% of people who don't succeed as those who just don't put in the effort. And while I can see that point, right, we also know that there's a reason. I know from all of my work in sales at 25 plus years in sales, now I sell myself, right? And my psychotherapy background, the tools that I use today, every day on working through people's subconscious blocks, I know why you're not successful. I know there are a handful of reasons why someone is not getting what they need out of their business. And none of it has to do with a lack of training or experience because you're good at what you do. You're just not so great about getting the word out. I had a sales call practice group that run every week. And one of the participants was brave enough to go in front of the group and practice. It's a very safe environment. We're not mean. We don't troll people. We don't try to be a difficult client, right? We just follow a framework. And at the end, he suggested that he was nervous, and we probably all saw that. He didn't, because it wasn't evident. The only person it was evident to was him, because he just hadn't practiced. The same is true of all aspects of business here. It's uncomfortable because you haven't practiced it. And when you practice and you keep going, because that's key, consistency is key. You keep following up, you keep putting your message out there, you keep trying, right? Keep marketing, then you see the results. So again, a couple things are happening. We try something and then switch to another thing, which is like, starting and stopping. You think about like the Fred Flintstone car, if he stops moving his feet, the vehicle stops, it comes to a complete standstill, and then it takes more energy and more momentum to keep going, right? So the same is true when you switch your marketing tactic or you switch your offer or you talk about something different, right? You'll see the momentum will just come to a screeching halt, and then you have to put in a ton of effort to get it to go again. So there's the switching gurus, multiple guru syndrome. That's my favorite, where we're listening to 75 different business experts. All of them may have good content, good points, good information, but when you dilute yourself across all these channels, nothing is working for you. If we focus our efforts, have the conversations, things can happen, right? The other problem that you're having is that you're not leaning into your lived experience. If you have a full-time job and a part-time side hustle, you are definitely not putting your messaging out there because you don't want your boss to find out. I know, because I used to be there. Now, what happens when you have a whole lengthy career, but you don't lend that expertise in your business? It's going to take a lengthy amount of time to become the expert in your new field, in your side hustle. That amount of time is excruciatingly long when you're trying to make some money at what you do. So there's a fear that you're going to be found out. Now, we can get through that. We can move through it. I do sessions with people all the time on moving past that. That's totally fine. I can help with that. Or you can just decide today that you're going to do the hard thing, right? That business mentor that I hired years and years ago, who I didn't do a lot of research on, told me at the time that I needed to lean into my lived experience and talk about how I rebuilt my career several times over, and I can help people with that. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to help people in toxic relationships. That's what I wanted to do with my business. That's my need, right? I was putting myself in front of the people that I can help. I put my ego ahead of you. I don't do that anymore at all, because fundamentally, the problems are the same. Underneath all of the reasons that we're in jobs we hate, relationships that are terrible, having difficulty moving forward in our business, they have a lot of the same underlying belief systems that we developed when we were younger. And I just happen to have the tools to fix that. So when someone is in a program with me, they don't get blocked. They don't have a lack of success because I move them through that. That's not a problem. That's my superpower, helping you in business, helping you in sales, and when you get stuck, unsticking you, right? It's super fun. So the difference between me and anybody else out there is that I'm giving you my lived experience in sales. I can teach you how to have that conversation. That is not hard. Marketing, I've been doing it too, right? We can work on niching and your message and all of the things. But when you get stuck and you're like, I don't want to do this, this feels uncomfortable to me, and we know it's the work that you need to do to move forward, then you have a separate session and say, hey, let me help unblock you with that. It's totally fine. If you're afraid of showing up online, you have visibility fears, afraid of making people upset or mad or being judged. Well, again, that's your ego getting in the way of the people you can help. It's like you put up a barrier between your gifts and the people. So we need to get you out of your own way. That's what I do. And I am super happy to help. This is the best part about being in this industry. I just want you to stop listening to people who don't know what they're doing. There's a gap. Gurus forget how step by step what they did to get to where they are. They want to deliver what they know now because it's so powerful and present for them right now. And they're like, oh, if only I had known this way back then, I would have been massively successful. Well, in order to become successful, they had to go through that growth process. And so do you. My other friend says that entrepreneurship is the hardest self-development course you'll ever go through. And she's not wrong, right? This is serious stuff. But, I don't know if you guys have kids, but children sometimes wonder why adults sort of forget what it was like to be a kid. I didn't. Like, I identify with the problems my children have. I remember going through them. I don't just say, suck it up, it's fine. Back in my day. No, it's hard. It's hard being a kid. So the same is true for when I help entrepreneurs. I remember what I went through. It's hard being an entrepreneur. I'm not going to tell you what I do today. I'm happy to share with you all of my, practices and the things that I do to keep myself going, but that's not what you need in the beginning. In the beginning, there's fundamental value shifts and belief systems that need to be addressed. And we need to put the blinders on and ignore all of the quick fixes, the fast results, 10K months and 30 days, whatever. Like, show me the proof that that's happening. If you have someone who's telling you that you can close $10,000 deals in DMs, cold DMing someone, show me your bank account. I want to see those deals you're closing. Because now it's almost 3 decades in sales, I know what it takes to move someone into a position where they feel comfortable spending money with you. And most of it has to do with their relationship that they have with you or the product, depending on what you're doing. They have to have an emotional connection. They don't have that, they're not going to buy. And again, turn it around the other way. How many times have you bought something for $10,000 in a DM with having no relationship with the person, never having seen them, having like just generic videos sent to you? You don't do it. So why would you expect someone else to do it for you? We have to put logic into the equation. We have to bring a thoughtful approach to our businesses and not just do what everyone says we should do. Those are my lessons for today.